Hello everybody, it's Mr. Thomas again, and this is video 2 of the Quizdb 101 series. This video will specifically focus on how you can get better as a player. Video 3 will delve into that as well, even more, with some other resources, but here we're going to focus on a few of what I think are the most important ways that you can become better as a player, and kind of a process for you to go through to develop as a better player in Quizdb. I'm going to start by introducing you to a resource that I'm particularly fond of. What's known as the 99 critical shots in Quizdb, and I should mention that this is not a paid endorsement or anything, but the 99 critical shots in Quizdb is a little book by a gentleman by the name of Dwight Kidder. It is only available on Kindle. They do not make it in hard copy, and it is remarkably affordable, $2.99. There's a link here in the video. There will also be a link in the description of the video that you can go out to Amazon if you want to buy this for your Kindle. It is, in my opinion, well worth the money. What do you get with that? I think there's two great things about this particular book. Number one, there's a lot of great content in it. Basically, he goes through and in his 99 critical shots of Quizdb will walk you through a wide variety of some material that comes up very frequently throughout various tournaments that you see in Quizdb. Pretty much everything that you see in here from a content standpoint, you will hear a question about it at some point in time in your Quizdb life. So there's a lot of answer lines that come up regularly as you advance through the levels of Quizdb. Second thing that's great about it is, while he's introducing you to this content, he also introduces you to techniques that you can use for studying and improvement as a player. And he kind of goes, as we start in the beginning of the book to the end of the book, developing different ideas that you can use to help yourself improve as a player, different kinds of techniques. I really think that for anybody who's starting in Quizdb and really wants to be a serious Quizdb player, this book is a good place, a really, really good place to start. All right, so that's the first thing. From here, we're going to move to what I think is the absolute most important thing for you as a Quizdb player: notebook. 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 Okay? So important, I got to say it 3 times. This is the number one thing that I think people should do to help themselves with improvement as a Quizdb player, is to consistently and frequently notebook. If you go out to tournaments, especially bigger tournaments that draw from various places, what you'll notice that the very most successful teams that you see from tournament to tournament, every single one of their players walks around with a notebook. So, first thing you should do, get yourself a dedicated Quizdb notebook. This is my Quizdb notebook. I carry it with me to every practice, every match, every tournament. I keep it with me, if I'm practicing questions on the side at home. I take that notebook and I keep it with me. Now, what do you do with that notebook? Well, there's a lot of different styles that people use for notebooks, writing down answer lines or important clues that you might hear. What I always say, is if you hear an interesting clue that you don't know the answer to, write it down in your notebook. If you hear an answer line to a question in one of your categories that you don't know the answer to, put it in your notebook for later research. Your goal here is to get it the next time you hear a question about this particular topic. Having coached as long as I have, I can tell you one of the most frustrating things as a coach is when players miss a toss-up question in practice one week, and then the next week there's another toss-up question related to the same answer line, and they miss it again. And to hear players say, "Oh man, I remember hearing this before," when you've heard stuff before and you don't know the answers, one of the things for you to get better as a Quizdb player is to learn the answers to the things after you've missed them the first time. Okay, so that's the basic idea of notebooking. Once you've got something written in your notebook, research your answer line. Try and learn as much, find out as much information about that answer line as you can. For instance, if you're a science player and you miss a question on photons, go through and do some research on and try and find out as much information about photons as you possibly can and add that to your knowledge base. Okay. Now, once you've done that research, I'm going to take you, this is some next level stuff here, where we go beyond that. You can get by with the basic idea of notebooking, writing down answer lines when you don't get a question, and then doing some research on those answer lines. But this is taking it to the next level and getting a little bit more depth, and I'm going to recommend a particular resource here. There's a website that I'm very fond of called Quizdb.org. I'm going to put this website again in the description that you can use for research of questions that have been asked about that answer line. Quizdb possesses a database of old Quiz Bowl tournament questions. So you can go into Quizdb, and I'm going to go ahead and go into Quizdb right now. And, suppose we missed an answer line about photons. I can go into Quizdb, and in this little search box here, type in, photon, and click search, and it will search up questions for me that have appeared containing photon, either in the question or in the answer line. So maybe I just want to look for questions, I just want to look for answers where photon is the answer. And I'll research that again and see if kept me with the same kind of search. But you look at these, and what you can do is you can read through all these possible toss-up questions and look for clues that come up over and over again throughout these different questions that you can see containing photons. For instance, just looking at it very quickly, the first two questions that I see here, I see right away a clue that appears in both of these questions fairly late in the question. Notice they both end with what's the same giveaway, these massless quanta of light, massless quanta of light. So both of those questions ended with the exact same clue. And another common clue they have here, their energy is equal to Planck's constant times frequency. The energy of these particles equals Planck's constant times their frequency. So that's a clue that we've now seen in the first two questions we looked at. And so that's something that we want to associate with the concept of the photon. The photon, its energy is Planck's constant times its frequency. So if we run into a question with that clue, we can buzz and we know that the answer is photon. Okay? So that's some more in-depth research that you can do as a player to look at things with that answer line. Other things that players have done then, now that I know those clues, the second thing here, I talk about making index cards. You can make index cards and put aside time to study them. You've got the answer line photon, and then we had our clue, and maybe we take that common clue and that answer line and make ourselves an index card for our studying. You can either make real index cards, go old school like me and use the old cards and shuffle through your deck, or you can do it online. Anki has come highly recommended to me as a carding method online, but there are others as well that people can use. If you find a better method for you as far as organizing your information, by all means use it. Okay? And then the last thing here, try your hand at writing questions about the topic. After you've studied, you missed a question on photons, you've done some research, you've learned more about photons, you've looked and seen some of the common clues, then try to write some questions where photon is the answer line, and get into the habit of doing that, because writing questions is one of the best ways for you to remember the information that you might come across. Okay? So this is really a strategic plan for you to take things that you don't know and add them to your lexicon so that the next time you can get those questions. Speaking of the next time, I'll see you guys next time for video 3, the final video in my Quizdb 101 series. All right, thanks for watching. Goodbye.